Alright, I'm going to tell you right now, my fan, okay, on my computer, alright, and you got to understand, this is a tiny thin laptop, okay, and it's sitting on top of my desk, alright, nowhere near my microphone, alright, and I'm going to tell you right now, I turned off my switches, okay, and I went from 5 or 6 bars of picking up microphone sound down to 3. Okay, where earlier this morning it was a half of 1. Okay, and I can hear the actual fan moving just a tiny bit louder. All right, so that tells you right there I'm picking up 3. So this is 9 times out of 10 going to be a lot louder than it should be. Okay, it's just bear with me, guys. It's going to take a while to actually do this. All right, so now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, if I can actually get in there, erase my address here so we can, actually I'm going to change it. Because I forgot about that. Alright, trying to take out the information. Have to wait a little longer. Okay. All right. So now. All right. Okay. We are going to talk about the most important thing, and that is your resume. Okay. Your concept of selling who you are. Okay. And what you can do. All right. Now, right off the bat, guys, this is your career. All right. Okay. This resume that I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you why it's designed the way it is, okay? Originally, I stole the format of it, okay? All right? And from somebody, and I even asked them, can I steal it? He's like, sure, I don't care, all right? But the structure of the flow of the resume has been designed. Now, if you look at the name at the top, it says Kyle Martin's resume 7.1. Okay, so what I did is I copied this resume from my existing resume, okay, it changed all the information on it, all right, meaning that every company that's listed on this resume is not where I worked, okay, all right, it has no validity whatsoever, all right, and that's why, I blanked out my address because I didn't even realize I had my address up there, so on and so on. Of course, email address, who cares, all right, I want everybody to have my email address. So now, okay, Kyle M. Martin at gmail.com, okay, it's still valid, so no worries there. All right, now, this is version 7.0. I started on with version 1.0, then I went to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, all the way up to 1.9, and then I went to 2.0. Okay, now if you did the math, okay, and I started with 1.0, wouldn't that tell you that this is the 61 version? I've redone my resume 61 times. Okay, and I want you to really think about that number, 61 times. That's changed. That is now a version is not adding a company to it. Okay, a version is changing the information, the flow. Like if I change my summary, okay, all right, that's a version change. If I change how this is formatted, like where the bullets are, where the indents of the tabs and stuff, that's a format change. So that is a version change. Okay, if I just add a company where I worked at for a contract, that's not a version change. Okay, so 61 times I have redone my resume to get it to the way it is now. Now, okay, in your career, you can have the best looking resume at some given point in time. Someone is going to tell you how bad your resume is, and you need to go to a professional resume creator. Okay? I don't care who they are. I don't care who you are and how perfect it is. Someone's going to tell you that. Because that individual doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Alright? Because at some point you're going to start recognizing and realizing, I don't understand why you're telling me this, because, everybody praises me on how great my resume looks. Okay? Alright? And of course, if you're doing it 60 sometimes like me, eventually you're going to get good at it. Okay? Alright? I have changed people's lives and concept by teaching them how to build a resume. Okay? They've gone from not being able to get a job and then literally getting an interview the following week just because we changed the way their resume looks. So, during that time in my career, I did do that. I went out and paid someone $200 to redo my resume. And the complaints that I got from that resume, was insane. Every recruiter I talked to, they were like, you need to hire a professional because this is the worst resume I've seen. I'm like, that is from a professional. They were like, that's crazy. Insane. And they were like, I've seen this a lot where people are paying people and the resumes look horrible. This is unreadable. It's illegible. It's horrible. It's hard on the eyes. All that crap. Okay. Now, what I want you to do, and we're going to pay attention to it. Okay. Do not listen to the laws that they tell you and what people tell you, man. This is your career, your choices, okay? So stop listening to what everybody else is telling you to do with your life, okay? All right? Now, I want you to look down here where my mouse is going, okay? All right, which should be, okay, I was going to say it should be black. I don't know why it's white, okay? Right here, page 1 of 6. Do you know how many people have told me to cut that out of resume to 1 page? And I would literally have to tell them, do not touch my resume. Do not present my resume. The moment, and I said, I am not allowing you to change my resume. I said, the moment you change my resume, okay, you are God, what's the word I'm looking for? Presenting. You're mispresenting who I am to the client. Okay? Alright? And they will listen to you. Alright? 6 pages long. Okay? When someone sits there and says, I have a 6-page long resume, okay, they're going to tell you that no one's going to read a 6-page resume. That's not true, man. It all depends on what they're looking for. Okay? Now, this is documentation of all the jobs I've had since 2009. Okay? Now, I am going to start off with how this looks, the layout. Okay? Now, first, I got my name up here. Okay? And underneath there, okay, my CCIE number. Okay? My CCIE number is who I am. Okay? I want people to see this. I want that right off the bat. Okay? All right? I want it part of my name. All right? Kyle Martin, CCIE number 54443. Okay? That is what they're going to see right off the bat. Oh, this guy's a CCIE. Okay. All right. Now, okay, that changes how they're looking at my resume from here on out. Okay? They didn't have to search for the information. They didn't have to look for it. Now, on the right-hand side has my phone number. Okay, which phone number I prefer. Okay, my cell phone number, my email address. Several ways of them to be able to get a hold of me. Okay? And my address. Okay? And the address is important because if you're calling me for a job that's in Minnesota, okay, it better be remote. I'm not moving to Minnesota just because, first of all, guys, some of these companies they got some balls, man. I'm not kidding. They got some serious balls. I had one company that wanted me to go to Texas, fly to Texas on my dollar. They wouldn't pay for the flying, okay, all right, and there's no guarantee that I'm going to get a job. Okay, so you want me to pay $1,000 for a ticket for a 1-hour interview, okay, all right, because I got to fly back. So I'm hoping that it's only $1,000 to go up there and back. You're not going to pay for it, Okay? You want me to come there so badly, but you're not going to pay for it. All right? And there's no guarantee of me getting a job. No. I'm not. I would never take that risk. Okay? Never. For all I know is I fly up there, spend $1,000, and for what? For you never to call me again? It's just not practical. Okay? Now, this other company wants me to move. Okay? All right? States away. I mean, like a 15-hour ride. All right? To relocate for a 3-month contract? Are you what? Are you kidding me? I don't even care if it's a year contract because I have enough experience to know that 1-year contract can die within a month because you lost funding. All right, I'm not putting my life in that position, trusting you that you are doing what you need to do to make sure I'm going to get my paycheck for a year straight or 5 years. I've had 5 years contract guys that have only lasted 6 months. All right, they fire all the network route and switch guys and have all the voice guys finish the work because it's a cookie cutter system. Okay, so all right, these guys have balls. All right, so now let's focus on the summary. First of all, right underneath my name, I have a line. Okay, this is dividing who I am and where I'm at and how to get in contact with me. And now we're getting underneath. This is who I am. Now, technically, okay, this really should be this, okay? All right? Okay, that verbiage needs to be changed, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do this here. Yeah, let's do this. Which has nothing to do with you, has to do with me. Because since we're going through this, I'm not going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Alright? I'm going to copy this. Okay? I'm going to put that there because I'm going to update my resume as when I actually finish this video. So now let's take a look at the summary. And now listen to me very carefully. Very carefully. There are 2 things about me in my resume that I don't mess with. First of all, okay, nobody speaks my voice. Every word that is on here is how I talk. It's how I speak. They're my words. Okay, I can't tell you how many people that I've interviewed, okay, that do not know what their resume says. Do you have any idea what that looks like? Okay, do you have any clue? All right, because what this is saying is you weren't even confident enough to put your words on paper to show me how you are. That means none of this is you. This isn't you. This is somebody else's. This is somebody else. Okay, somebody else's words, and that person that guarantee you that created this doesn't know you. Okay, it's not you. So if you're practically creating a persona of what you want me to believe that you are, okay? And how am I going to believe anything you say after this? It's just that simple. I'm not saying that's how everyone thinks, but that's how I think, okay? All right? Now, you don't have to be a manager to do interviews. Okay, my last contract, last employment. My last employment, all right, every interview that they were adding onto the team, I was with my manager. Sometimes there was a couple other people, or most of the time it was just me and my manager because I showed up to everyone. Because the manager needed help because I would ask my technical questions and my security questions. Okay, he would ask questions that would pertain to security as well. All right, because his concept of security was way in depth, a lot more in depth than I was. Okay, all right. And then we would have a series of questions. He would take half of them, I'll take half of them. All right, and then I would write the answers down. All right, then I would send him a report, okay, of what I thought the candidate was like. So he could have some type of insight to how somebody else was perceiving this person. All right, this is extremely helpful to him. Okay? All right, so I made sure that every time there was an interview that I would show up. Okay? So I'm not a manager. I'm not the one doing the hiring. He was a hiring manager. I was just there to help him with the interview, with the technical aspect of it. Okay, so, and you gotta understand too, this guy knew systems in and out, but he wasn't a route switch guy. All right, so the networking stuff, you know, those are my specific questions. But to get the point, I'm not a hiring manager. Okay, but the interviews that I'm doing isn't me making a decision, but it's me involving myself in the process. Okay, and when I go through someone's resume, I read word for word. And there's a lot of people out there that does that, okay? Another thing, embellishing your resume. I don't do that shit. Everything on my resume, I can speak to, okay? All right? And when I'm sitting across the table with dual CCNAs, 2 of them, and one of them is going for their PhD in computer science and almost done, okay? All right? These motherfuckers are going to pull my goddamn resume apart. All right? And then, bam, he saw something. He's like, I know for a fact, Kyle, I know he's bullshitting on this. And it was feedback. All right? He started asking me questions on feedback. Okay, one of them I got wrong. Okay? And it was something really simple like, where could you do configurations on there? All right, and I wasn't really paying attention or recognizing that from a CBAP perspective, you're doing it on an interface by interface basis. You see what I'm saying? You know, so I got that wrong because I wasn't really thinking on that mindset. However, what CBAC does, the technology it does, and any question you had about CBACs, bam, I was on point. All right? It's not about getting them all right, guys. It's about how you answer the question. And I gave him the wrong answer, but the answer that I gave him gave them a notion that, okay, this guy really does know CBAC. All right? And he even admitted, he's like, I thought I was going to trip you up, man, because I've never seen CBAC on a resume. He was like, good job on that. So that's my point. Okay? I don't embellish. Embellishing is lying, guys. Period. I mean, that's just the way it is. All right, over time, you're going to get experience. Okay, you're going to. So just wait until your resume grows. I'm on the 61 version of my resume. Okay, of course I got 6 pages out of it because I was a contractor. All right, and I'm going to document my entire network career. They can go as far back as they want. So now let's take a little out of verbiage here for the summary. Cisco Certified Internet Expert. What do you think that stands for? CCIE. With design, implementation, migrations, and secured, high available, multi-home, multi-tier infrastructures. Consistent success in large corporate environments, financial, government, and healthcare data centers. Okay, now, this is extremely important. When you're starting off, you really don't understand what the industries are like, okay? All right? Financial and government and healthcare are the 3 major ones, okay? If I would say there's a 4th one, it's just standard corporations, okay? All right? You can go for an interview and they're going to ask you, have you ever worked for a financial company before? All right? And they'll completely knock you off the board for a candidate because they want someone who's been in the financial, because there's different things you got to deal with. There's different knowledge. They don't want to have to teach you all this extra stuff, okay, because you never worked in a financial environment before. Healthcare is the same way. Government's the same way, okay? All right, so look how sweet, straight to the point my verbiage is, okay? There's no changes need to be done to that, all right? I don't need to tell them I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. Okay? Alright? Don't have to. It's very straight to the point. I've seen summaries, paragraphs and paragraphs long, and all of it was nothing but trying their best to prove to how great they are. Okay? I want you to reread what I said. Cisco Certified Internet Expert with design, implementation, and migration and secured, high available, multi-home, multi-tier infrastructure. Talk about a run-off sentence, but it works. consistent success in large corporate environments, financial. Oh, you know what? I do have corporate in there, so I got all four of them in there. Corporate environments, financial, government, and healthcare data centers. I totally missed that the first time. That covers everything that I have experience in. And that's what a summary is. All right? It's three long, it's not even a paragraph. Okay? Now, right off the bat, right underneath that, okay, and a lot of people do this backwards. All right? They don't have the certifications at the end of their resume. No, not me. I want that shit right at the top. Okay? All right? I worked hard for those, and I'm going to brag on them. All right? So, now, what I'm missing here, okay, A+. Okay? Alright? Now, for the government concept, like security plus and A+, I mean, it could be, and I've never had it in 50 years, but the more and more I'm getting involved and about to do my version 7.2, I'm going to add those certifications in there. Okay? Alright? There's also other certifications I got from Cisco that are on here as well, and I'm going to add those on there too. Okay? So, now, platforms. Guys, it's not rocket science, alright? Okay? I just label what I've worked on. Okay? And to be honest, it's the iOS that doesn't really change. It doesn't really matter. Okay? Now, back in the day, like, let's say like a 7200, okay? It might have mattered, okay, that you had knowledge and experience with a 7200 router, because all the information going to the actual supervisor, all that information going to a 7200 router, okay, had to go through the supervisor first to be processed. Okay? That means layer 2 traffic will always have to hit the supervisor, where it doesn't do that anymore with our devices. Okay? That will be kind of a knowledge that will prove that, yeah, I know how to work on 7200s. Okay? Juniper, every interview, I've never had a Juniper position, doesn't mean I haven't worked on Juniper stuff, but a real Juniper, like all Juniper shop position, because all they do is ask you specific hardware questions. Okay, even Juniper themselves. Okay? They were like, it doesn't matter you're a Cisco guy, but because they needed someone that had networking skills, but yet their entire interview, questions of an interview were hardware specific. Okay, and I can't give you hardware specific information on Cisco devices that I worked on. Okay, why would I commit those things to memory? Okay, that's what research is for whatever platform I'm on. Okay, I'm not gonna remember what a 900 does. Okay, or even guys, 6500 to 4500. Oh my God, I worked on thousands of those. Okay, alright, I can't tell you anything specific between a 4500 and a 3750. I don't know. Okay, alright. And the only way I'm going to find out, and check this out, I'm going to find out when I need to, which is when I have a 4500 and a 3750, and someone says, we are choosing between the two, which one we should choose, and now I'm going to go out and find out the features of both. And trust me, I'm going to put that on paper, all right? And tomorrow, I'm over it, all right? Already forgotten, all right? I would not commit that. I got enough stuff over my head that I need to be paying attention to, including the non-technical aspects of my career and my job on a regular basis, okay? All right, so we got some model numbers. Notice I got the Juniper at the end, okay, the EX and the MX series, okay? All right, what this is painting a picture of, because like the routers, I got the switches up here, okay? Notice I'm very specific. Switches, routers, security, okay? All right, checkpoint needs to go here. All right, so let me... Okay, I never thought that I would ever work on a checkpoint, right? And I have checkpoint experience. Okay, I didn't have AWS on there. I were VPCs. I'm not an AWS guy. Okay, but if they ask me to build an AWS environment, I can do it because I've had experience with the VPCs, okay? All right, and the routers and the long-ass names that Amazon loves to give on their devices, okay? I'm familiar with that, all right? I know how to create access lists and things like that, and subnets, all that stuff, okay? It's just not something I do on a regular basis, and I don't like it. I really don't. I can't stand it. But if someone asks me to actually do an AWS project, I will do it, okay? Now, routing. I want you to look at this. LAN, WAN, EIGRP, OSPF, BGP, okay? RIP needs to be on there, okay? All right, it doesn't matter if nobody uses it anymore, and that's not the case, for it still exists out there, okay? I've come across it once in my career, was shocked that I saw it, all right? And that has changed my attitude against everything, all right? There's a reason why they use it. They had a very good reason why they use it, okay? All right, and I was the only one that was able to work on it because nobody, man, look, for real, if you're a network person, you should know how to work on all protocols. It's a concept of what speaks to a customer about yourself. All right, I know OSPF, but I don't know anything about EIGRP. But I'm a network guru. Really? Okay, maybe you are. Okay, but that's not how they're going to perceive it. And, you know, it's not like you want to present yourself like everybody else wants to see you. But at the same time, okay, it's important to me to know every routing protocol that's out there. From my perspective, okay? All right, now look, basic stuff. VLANs, private VLANs, spanning tree, MST, port aggregation, FHRP, first hop routing protocol, port security, frame relay, redistribution, route optimization, and filtering, and tunnels. These are the technologies I decide to talk about and put on my resume. That's it. Okay? Now, guys, do you think there's more stuff that I know? As a matter of fact, you know, I just thought of something I should put on there. All right, that should have been on there. All right. Okay. Now you got to understand, when I built this from original, okay, my security was weak, so weak that I don't want to talk about security under no circumstances in an interview. That's why I never went on my resume. Okay. All right. Last several years of my career, and more than several. I mean, seriously. Okay. My concept of dealing with security is comfortable as hell, and I have no problems with it whatsoever. And that part should have been updated a long time ago. But I missed it. I skipped it. Okay. So, but we're not gonna skip it this time. I'm gonna redo my resume after this. Like I said, after this. Okay, here's my, I'm sorry, that's secure. I got IPsec right there. Alright, under security. So I'm good. Okay? Notice about DMVPN. Now guys, there's my CBAC, by the way. Alright? If you ever sat down and talked to me, or even came to my free classes, okay, when I used to do those, DMVPN is still my favorite protocol. And when someone comes in IS and says, hey, you know how to work on DMVPN? I'm like, do I know how to work on DMVPN? So, DMVPN is a protocol that I brag about at least once a week, is what I will respond. That's how I'll respond to it. Yes, I love DMVPN, okay? Give me a project with that on it, I'm going to shine, because that's one of my favorite protocols to deploy. Okay? MBAR, all right? Zone-based firewalls, all right? Okay? People use zone-based firewalls, man. They turn their routers into firewalls. It's still used out there. All right? The concept of you working at an organization and don't see zone-based firewalls doesn't mean, man, that zone-based firewalls are dead. Any real networking person that has good experience would never say anything is dead, because they know there's a high possibility to come across. All right, now I'm going to reiterate, okay, and I'm going to tell you about my environment experience, okay. high availability, multi-home, multi-tier financial data centers. High availability and secured multi-home, multi-tier government data centers. All right. High availability, fast-paced network operating system center. All right. And then, okay, which I really don't like this, but we're going to fix that. All right, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. Okay, large and complex enterprise size infrastructure. I do not like this because this is an extra line, okay, and the first thing I want on the next page is not being bled from the page before. So we're going to go up here, all right, and we're going to close that out, and we're kind of, and we're done, okay. Now, I could do a different way by Control Z, all right, and then close this up a little bit, all right, and that gets me all on one page. Now my very next page is professional experience. Okay, now that's fixed. See, I go through each one every time before I send one out. Okay, I go through a quick look. Now the routing loop is my creation. Now what the routing loop does, okay, and this is accurate information. I have my company name, I have my job at the company name, what I do, and I have the date. Now, check this out. I'm going to zoom out, okay, and look how easy it is to grab information. Company, 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 company. All right. Okay, Kyle was a senior consultant. Okay, so Kyle is a consultant. All right. Okay. All right. He worked at a knock here. All right. Okay. And but everything else, he's a consultant. All right. So Kyle has experience to a level where, all right, he's been at a lot of networks. So that means this is the guy for us. Okay. He'll have the ability. He's no stranger to walking into a new environment. He's no stranger of hitting the ground running. He's definitely no stranger of being able to adapt to a new network. And this guy has seen a lot. Okay, he just hasn't been working at one network, okay, for 15 years. All right, and decided to change positions. This guy has a skill set to be able to give him the ability to do this. Okay, every company has 4 separate sections. Okay, what I want you to do is take a look as I scroll down. Network role, design, implementation, training, security role, design, implementation, day-to-day. Network role, design, implementation, day-to-day. Okay, network role, design, implementation, migration. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, I'm literally at every job. I'm telling them what type of design I did, what was my role there, okay, what I have implemented, okay, and kind of at the very end, what was my kind of extra on that job. So some of them will have day-to-day, okay, I got training on here as well, all right, okay, because I was training people at the job, all right, I got migration, because I was doing migrations for that particular job, more migrations, okay, all right, replacements, builds, you see that? But look at the flow. Everything is in. All I have to do is glance my eyes down, flip the page over, all right, and say, okay, look, this is different. Optimization. All right, let's see what he does about optimization. Let's see what he does. Separate traffic to prevent asynchronous routing of return egress traffic and dual data centers. Now that's pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting skill to have. As a matter of fact, we have the same problem with our data center. He'll fit right in here with our issues that we're having. All right, and we now have projects to give him. Okay. All right. Now let's look at Metro Cellular. We're gonna keep in mind all these companies are paid. All right. Alcatel-Lucent. Here's my implementing devices: Cisco routers, ASA, Juniper, and big IPF5. Okay. Now let's take a look at the bank. Now here's another thing. Okay. What I want you to pay attention to. All right. As I scroll back up, every one of these companies is not the company I work for. And everybody trying to tell me not to do that, and they're full shit, yo. If I am working for recruiter company A, okay, but it's on Capital One's network, why the hell would I put company A on there? I want people to know what networks I worked on. So I'm going to put Capital One, okay, as the job that I worked at, because that's where I did my work. Now, you can actually put in parentheses, okay, right, Capital One, you know, and the name, and in parentheses, the name of the contractor if you want to do that, all right? But I don't do that, all right? And in fact, what I do is I have a separate list that has the recruiting names and the start date and the end date, all right, just in case I have to fill out specific security documentation for background checks, all right? What you're about to do, especially if you're involved with the government. What I want you to look at as we go down, the flow is so easy on the eyes. Okay, look how your eyes just goes right to the bold, right to the section that you want to look at. You can easily be like, you know what, I saw something on Colin's resume. I think it was for Apple, all right? And you can go right to Apple section, man. It is so easy to read. That's why there's 60-some versions of my resume. To get it to this level, you know how many mistakes I made to get to this point? Okay? But I just want you to just look at it. Just stare at it in one spot. Right in the middle of a white spot, like right here. Okay? And see, for your peripheral vision, the top and the bottom, and see if it does not match up. Okay, and how easy it is and how it flows. All right, let's take a look at Apple. Design. Consistent interaction with DHS representatives to obtain closure on implementation, development standards, and processes. Created detailed documents and drawings for topology, protocols, equipment, rack replacements, and cabling. This is accurate, okay? And I need you to understand something. If I did not have a detailed explanation, okay, that alone explains to them, okay, this is good. You can't make that shit up. All right, look at how it writes like that. Okay, because that's exactly what I did there. All right? Okay, but the only way to word it in that fashion is to have the experience of doing the work at that location. Okay? This resume literally shows, okay, this guy ain't no joke. This guy is really a network guy. Okay? All right? Okay? Now, let's look at Ultrabox. Okay? Yeah, you tell me all these things up. All right? LAN support. Now, that's the only one that's different. Okay? And you know what I'm saying? This is back in 2009. So I started off my career in LAN support. Okay? All right? You can see where I was troubleshooting VLANs, SHRP, port security, spanning tree, and cabling. All true. Okay? Wrote documentations on the need support of DHCP snooping to eliminate the constant uses of rogue DHCP server. We were talking about that in another video, remember? All that's true. Okay? Alright? This is real. This is how you develop your resume. Everything, every job, you update your resume as you're doing certain things. Okay, so you don't forget later. Alright? Okay? And then I come down to my last page. Of course, this is page 6, right? Alright? Miscellaneous skills. Peer review. Technical document, design documents. Rollback plans. Project scopes. Solution scopes. Project risk. RFQs. Statements of work. Bill of materials. Okay? Alright? They don't have to ask me any questions on what I've done. Okay? Now look, produce new policies and procedures for severity events, troubleshooting methods, escalations, and change control. Because I was sitting on some of these jobs, I've sat on architectural calls and architectural meetings. All right, I was an architect, but I got to sit in the meetings so I can add feedback. and add my 2 cents, okay? All right, use Visual Basics or VB scripts to deploy accurate and massive configurations in a timely fashion. That's true, all right? And trust me, VB scripts are, awesome as hell, all right? But you gotta understand, I come from Visual Basic, okay? All right, back in the day, that's what I did. I was, I would program, I would make applications with Visual Basic. So I had that skill set. So using VB scripts was easy as hell. All right, because that's all it is Visual Basics, which is why we call them VB scripts, Visual Basic language still. Okay, now tools: ServiceNow, HPSM, Knowledge Link, Netcool, SharePoint, SolarWinds, Wireshark, TCP dump, HCNA, Remedy. Okay, come on guys. All right, anybody's been in the IT field, you know about Remedy, right? Cisco Works, Cisco CLI Analyzer, Secure CRT. All right. Now, I actually then go in and talk about significant projects of my LAN projects and my WAN projects. Okay. All right. This is my resume. Yeah, you can copy it all you want, but you're never going to have the verbiage that I have. Okay, and even if you copy it word for word, okay, you're not going to be able to speak on it as I do, because 61 times of me redoing it, I know every word on his resume. They're my words. Okay, all right. So they will try to trip you up to see if you're lying on your resume, and they can't do that. Not with me, because it's untruthful. Okay? Now, is this bragging? No. I'm just documenting what I've done. Alright? Guys, I've been in the field since 2009. That's 15 years. Alright? You would expect to have some type of skill set over a 15-year period. Alright? I'm not some novice coming in, right? But at one time I was. Alright? So 15 years, guys, think about it. Think about when I first started my first YouTube channel, the ones that have been with me since the beginning. 15 years has already passed, yo. Alright? You watch me there trying to be a CCNA. Next thing you know, I'm a CCIE, going for my second CCIE, and then 15 years later. Okay? Alright? And you also got to understand, okay, the things that I talk about is what you're going to go through, okay? Or it's what you are going through in your career, or been there, done that. All right? Okay? All right? So sometimes you're watching the videos like, oh man, Kyle, that's an awesome ass video, man. You've been there, done that, man. You're absolutely right on that. Okay? It brings a sense of not just being relatable, but at the concept of I'm not the only one. Alright? I had a shitty ass career in the beginning. I went through some bullshit. Alright? Nobody's suffering like I am, and the next thing you know, Kyle comes around like, oh shit, Kyle went through the same shit out there. I guess it's the norm. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10 it probably is. Alright? So, welcome to the resume stage, okay? Look how my stuff flows, okay? Everything needs to be in line, okay? Everything needs to look good, because the whole purpose of the resume, okay? If I can find words. Did I close it out? Oh, no. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, forget it. All right, did it do it? Did it come up? Okay, there we go. That was weird. The whole purpose of the resume, okay, is the flow. When they look at my resume, I don't give a shit if it's 15 pages, guys. They can just flip through it, boom, 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 and catch information just like that. All right, just catches their eye. All right, you don't want this in paragraphs like that. You want to separate your information. You want their eyes to be able to go right to where they want to go to. All right. Because if they have to go back and review your interview, your resume, they can just easily go to the manager and say, hey, look at this guy. Look at this. All right? Now, go to Harris's site, okay? Check out his procedural stuff. All right? It's in their head because it was easy to find. Bam! Manager goes right to it and is able to read my experience on that particular job site. Kyle has relatable information, right? Go to Bank, Harris, and Kmart. All right, he all those jobs he has done what we are looking for. Okay, does that make sense? But don't have any illusion. Okay, as I go back and redo my resume today, okay, and I don't have to. I have a job. Okay, but this is what I present to other people to say, this is what you get when you allow Kyle Martin to enter your domain. Alright? It's not just saying, hey, I'm Kyle Martin, I want a job. Here you go, this is what I've done. No, this is who I am, man. That's why I'm on version 7.1. 61 versions later. Alright? That's my point. Your resume is only as good as what you put into it. And for someone over a 10-year, 15-year period, okay? All right, I want you to think about that. Over a 15-year period, okay? That means on an average, I've redone my resume 4 times every year. On an average, if you want to do the math, 15 years, divided by 60, right? Did I say that right? Doesn't really matter. You get it. 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 30 is 60. That's 4 times a year, okay? You get that. Your career. And I'm only going to say this once. And if anything on this planet that you ever listened to before from anybody, this is that thing. Your career is only as good and serious as you are. You get nowhere as far as advancement is concerned, okay, by looking for a paycheck. Guys, I don't worry about my pay. The pay is a byproduct. Okay? The hard work I put in, the pay I get is a byproduct. I don't do this stuff to actually get paid. I do this stuff to be employed and to be skillful. Okay? The money is a byproduct. Okay? Chase the money, you ain't getting shit. Alright? Don't worry about the money and build the skill set, which is what people need. The money's a byproduct. And you're going to get paid what you want to get paid eventually. Okay? Especially if you take it seriously. Now, done with resumes? Hey, be strong, be determined, be Cisco.